Jeremy Rossman from Make School, come on up. Ivan Shumkov from Build Academy. Hannes Klapper from iVersity. Gonzalo Manrique from Ironhack. And Martina from EDEM. Yeah? Come on up.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Good. Okay, let's spread out a little.
Yeah.
Get a little elbow room here. Yeah? All right. So the theme of this conversation is learning, life, and career accelerators, or acceleration, right? One of the themes that we've seen at Learn Capital is that when you can learn online, everyone thinks, oh, it's convenient, it's cheap, it's easy, it's engaging, it's fun. Many people say, if I can use technology to learn, I want to learn faster, better, stronger, right? And so one of my questions, I want every panelist to introduce them, their organization, and how they are accelerating learning or life or career. Yeah? Mm-hmm. All right, Martina?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
First of all, I'm very pleased to be here. I'm from EDEM, which is a business school in Valencia and has 15 years of experience now. We are very, very focused on entrepreneurship. So we have different degrees in master degrees and bachelor degrees. They are very into entrepreneurship. What we believe in that you can actually really train the entrepreneurial spirit, because you have to, that nowadays everything is so changing very rapidly and very quickly. So you have to be able to survive, you need to be able to have a very critical mindset, being able to see the opportunities, validate your proposals, having strategies, and so on. So making it a little bit shorter, we are very into it. We are doing it in a very practical way. And another big added value that we have is that we are taking part in a bigger project called Marina de Empresas, which means that we are education, but next to us there is an accelerator and then the financial part. So we cover these three aspects.
All right. So you invest in your own people then, in your own
Definitely.
students. All right, Gonzalo.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm super pleased to be here today. My name is Gonzalo. I'm co-founder of Ironhack, and we want to destroy university, but not at them.
Thank you.
No, only kidding. We basically want to be an alternative, viable alternative to more, let's say, established educational institutions. And what we do basically, it's all about accelerating your career and enabling people to transition into tech jobs, right? So we teach people, we started with a program and we teach people how to code in 3 months. So anyone, independently of their background, if they pass our admissions test, we'll take them to be a junior developer at a startup.
And you're live here in Spain, right?
Yeah, so we're in Madrid, Barcelona, and Miami. We're all in cool places.
Yeah, all right. Very cool. Hannes.
All right, Hannes Klapper, iVersity. We're based in Berlin. We were the first MOOC player in Europe in 2013. So we've built a platform that has, at this point, more than 750,000 users from all over the world. We ran a bunch of courses in collaboration with universities, but also with international institutions such as the UN and the EU. And recently, in the last year, we've taken a look at what we've done, the platform we've built, and the didactics we've developed, and thought about how can we use this in a professional development setting. So while Gonzalo is trying to help people get a job, we are looking at it more from the angle of saying, okay, how can we keep you in business? If you're already successful, how can we make you more successful, or help you remain successful? So we're looking at a bit of older cohort and more mature companies, from late-stage startups to large corporates.
Ivan.
Hi, my name is Ivan Shumkov. I'm CEO and founder of Build Academy. We're based in New York. And we provide professional education and solutions for the building industry, which is basically the entire built environment, including architecture, engineering, real estate construction, and building products. And our mission, in fact, is to improve people's lives by revolutioning the entire building industry through providing education to companies and professionals to build better. And how we do it, essentially, is we partner with experts, universities, and top companies in our industry. We create online courses and programs, host them on our platform, and offer them online to professionals, companies, and governments all over the world.
Jeremy.
My name is Jeremy. I'm the founder of Make School. We're a computer science and software engineering school headquartered in San Francisco. And we offer 3 primary programs. A summer program targeted at high school and university-age students, where we teach them how to design, program, and launch their first iPhone app. And this happens during their summer vacation. We have multiple cities in the United States and across Asia. The second program we run is a full alternative to university. Students study full-time for 2 years. We have students transferring out of MIT and Harvard to come to Make School instead. And graduates are ending up at companies like Google, and they don't pay at first. They pay a percentage of their salary only once they get a job. So the financial model there is interesting. And the third thing we do is we provide curriculum to existing institutions. Right now, there are thousands of students at the high school, undergraduate, and master's level across the United States and in Asia who are learning how to program in classes taught by instructors that we trained using Make School curriculum. So if you know universities, high schools that want to introduce computer science, if you know people who are looking to study computer science for the first time at the high school, university age, we're the place to go.
Great. Over the past couple decades, the traditional academy, right, has kind of shrugged off the responsibility for employment outcomes, salary outcomes, and the success trajectory of their graduates. Instead, they kind of hide behind the idea that we're broadly educating, which obviously we think is also very important, right? But one of the things that we've found is that the successful entrepreneurial organizations don't shrug off that responsibility. They take full ownership for the career outcomes of the people that learn with them. So how do your organizations take full responsibility for career and salary outcomes of the learners that use your programs? And what does that mean to you? How do you take responsibility? And do you have any metrics or transparency metrics that you are willing to share with the audience? Do you want to start, Martin?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Well, it's very complex, the question.
Yes, of course.
Let's do it per part.
Yeah. You have 30 seconds. Go.
Okay, then I will just say the most important thing, that
Yes.
Even though we are a physical school, we are very modern inside. And we know that to learn and teaching entrepreneurship, you have to do it very actively. We are surrounded by the professionals. And there is our biggest added value. The professionals are our teachers. So there are people who have experience from the academic, from the universities, doctors, but at the same time there are executives and important people who have real experience in their companies, and entrepreneurs as well. I'm that case as well. I was an entrepreneur before and I'm now teaching there. So what I wanted to say is that our students have the real experience there, and after the studies each year they go for the traineeship. To the school, to the companies which we collaborate with. So we have really big circle of supporting companies that work with us. And that is basically an important networking for the students. And we have, for example, we have one course, MBA Junior, which has 1% success, 100% success in inserting people to the companies. So they end up with the careers.
100% success.
Yes,
100% success. That's good.
Because it's designed in that way. I mean, there's business model behind.
Great. Cool. Gonzalo.
Yeah. So first of all, I think it's very important that we realize that students ultimately are hiring universities to get them a job. So we cannot shy away from that responsibility. And at Iron Hack, that's part of our core, right? So we are working with Skills Fund, which is an institution in the United States that funds students to go to boot camps in order to establish a uniform way to communicate student outcomes for our industry. I think this is a very important job that we are being part of. And also, we are working with an independent consultant firm to provide transparency, from our end. Once it's decided how to communicate it, then we'll do it and we'll have it certified by a third party, right? And for us, the metric, we are around nearly 95% within 3 months of graduation, right? That's our metric, and that's blended from our three campuses.
Great. And you're working with McKinsey for their Bold initiative, right?
Yes. Yeah. So McKinsey got together somewhere in the States and decided they wanted to solve youth unemployment, which is an amazing goal. So they targeted a few countries. One of them was Spain, to pilot an initiative that's called Generation Initiative. And then in each country, they saw in which kind of skills or areas there were vacancies, right? In Spain, it was web development and marketing, and we're their educational providers. So we've graduated nearly 300 students and have a success rate or hiring rate of around 80%, which is amazing, because these guys, for them, it's like first employment, and you're talking in a country where we have around 40% unemployment, right? Youth unemployment.
Okay.
All right. Well, as I said, I mean, professional learning for us isn't so much about getting people a job, but it's working with people that have a job already and making them more successful. Having an exact metric is slightly difficult. If you look at something like leadership, that's something that pans out over a few years to see whether someone benefited from a specific course. But we do, of course, see engagement, and there we're pretty happy that we got employees in their mid-40s from Deutsche Bahn to actively participate in an online course and work on assignments and submit them online and comment on other people's work, and the kind of things that at least the people in the HR department were really skeptical they would do before we started this. But yeah, they liked the usability and they did that. And then also we got some nice sort of qualitative feedbacks that, for example, one of the employees who did our course on visual thinking really adopted that methodology in his day-to-day work, and then his boss came back to us and said, I want to take this course as well, because this guy is using all these tricks now, I want to know how to do this. So that's something that encouraged us that we're on the right track.
Yeah, so for us at Build Academy, in terms of metrics, we started with a B2C model, consumer model, and we had over 60,000 people that signed for our courses, and over 3,000 completed them, and many of them have actually started their firms afterwards, mainly in the field of architecture, which is what we started teaching. And after this huge success with individuals, we started working with companies. And right now, as Hannes mentioned, when it's about professional education, a lot of companies, in fact, a lot of people who take the courses already have a job, so they're looking to improve their skills, so advance within their current career, being more successful at finding clients, being more successful in finding partners, and other professionals to work with. We then also started working with governments, and in fact, we recently won a bid in partnership with EY for a government in Southeast Asia, where we'll be training over 1,000 mid-career professionals. So it's been kind of a natural progression for us to expand from the individuals to companies and then to governments. And companies also look at us as an opportunity to innovate. We do a lot of crowdsourcing of solutions, and that's in fact how we started the company, by doing these design challenges, because for companies one of the big problems is how to be more creative, how to be more innovative. So they see this idea of collaboration, about crowdsourcing solutions as a way for them to create new products or to advance within their current working methodology.
Mm-hmm.
So my student audience is about, I'd say, between the ages of 13 and 23. And as a result, I get a lot of live feedback from that young age on what students are thinking about university. And I think that students right now who are in high school, between the ages of 13 and 18, are more sophisticated than any generation in the past in thinking about university. It used to be when, I turned 25 last week, and when I was deciding to go to university was just a few years ago. And deciding to go to university was not a educated decision, it was just a cultural tradition. You went to university if you were going to be successful. You didn't really think about it more. And I think students' frustration now comes from this dual role that university plays, where it's unclear whether they're trying to help you get a job or just trying to help you be broadly educated and perhaps ready for a master's program or a doctorate program. And we feel that it's our responsibility to offer another choice. We don't have to be the right answer, we can be a right answer. And we target students in our 2-year program who already know that they want to get a job. That's the role that they that they want us to play is helping them get a job. And right now, those students are across many universities that are not actually fulfilling that role well, and that's why we have students transferring in from schools like Harvard and MIT. At the same time, though, it's quite challenging because we see both sides. We run a program, our summer programs, that cannot lead to education, to job outcomes. We have, if a 14-year-old comes to our summer program on her summer vacation, she's not going to be able then to go get a job at Google and pay us for her salary. So we have to charge money directly up front. And at the end of the day, by presenting all the information that we can, we let our customers make an educated decision. We have one program, you have to pay us money initially, and you come for the educational foundations that you get and not for a job. And students still come, they're willing to pay, they understand the value, but they know they're not getting a job. They know there is no career fair. They know that that's the package that they're getting. They're learning how to design, program, and launch an iOS app. And many of them will use that to get a job, but if they're 15, probably not. And they still pay. For the 2-year program, because we are taking that role of helping the students get a job, we are putting our money where our mouth is. And if you're running an educational institution where you're going to make that promise to students, then you should be doing our model, which is take no money until they get a job. And that's what we do, and we're seeing a number of other schools follow that model now in the Silicon Valley, and we hope across the world soon.
All right. And that leads to a question of this one, because we have 5 of us and there's only 12 minutes left. I want folks to volunteer if you think you have a very, very thoughtful model of working with employers to design and create learning content that is aligned to the skill sets that are needed by employers. So who has the most innovative, thoughtful model here? Anybody? Gonzalo, okay. Yeah.
Had to raise my hand.
Yeah.
So what we're doing in terms of curriculum and alignment with employers is basically trying to build a kind of wiki curriculum to some extent. Mm-hmm. So by that I mean that we get a lot of feedback and iterate constantly, and this feedback not only comes from our curriculum team, but we have a semi-open model in which we take feedback from a lot of mentors that are in companies that then hire and hiring partners, right? Yeah. So that's the way, and obviously there's a tension, or could be a tension, right? Potentially, each company has different, let's say, ways of looking at what it's needed, but that's the role then of our head of curriculum to kind of mainstream and implement what we think is best.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think, as I said, we're not necessarily training students to then join a company, but still the model I think could also be interesting for the others is that we're working with, for example, agencies that are doing consulting for companies that know these companies well for a long time and know where they have problems and where they lack expertise, and that also provide not just consulting service but training services to these companies. And then in a sort of triangular model, we work with the company that's already working with that company knows it well and has the expertise to create a course. So we work with the agency that's consulting them to create the course that really fits the needs of the company. And I think, I mean, they of course know other companies as well. I think that could also be a way to go where because you say you work with experts, where you find an expert who's already really plugged into the industry and knows, where the needs are, so you don't have to go through all the design thinking process of getting to know your clients' needs yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, I wanted to add that, as I said before, we are a part of Marina de Empresas, so we are under one roof, the education part of the university and educational center. Then we have the accelerator and the financial part. So imagine that all together, and our teachers are professionals. So in the end, naturally, the topics emerge, and if we find them, we put our heads together, and if we find the topic that we have to cover, we just deliver that knowledge to the place. And this is naturally how it occurs, a part of the curriculum part that we cover.
So you bring up an interesting question, which is, in education, this is an existential question. Should our instructors be great professionals, right? That have expertise in the area of their profession, or should they be great teachers? Should they be an expert in the art of instruction? Is it possible to have both? How do you resolve that tension? Yeah?
Yeah.
Jeremy, you want to
And
Start?
then Ivan gets to.
Okay.
One of the things that we realized is that within every discipline, but in the one that we focus on, computer science, software engineering, the really good people actually tend to be quite good teachers. The reason for this is that most serious work nowadays is done on teams. The apps that you use every day, the software you use every day, most of the time there's tens, sometimes hundreds or even thousands of engineers working on that app, which some people think is crazy. Like, how can there be 100 people working on Facebook Messenger? But there really are hundreds of people working at once. Therefore, to be a good software engineer in the modern context, you need to be able to communicate with a team. And to be a good team communicator, you usually end up acquiring or having the skills that make you good at explaining to others what you're doing, how you're doing it. And so if you're looking at education, and if those of you who were in the session prior, Robin from Minerva was talking about how lecturing is not a good format, but audience participation, or more broadly speaking, student active learning is the way to go, then you realize that looking for someone who's a great orator, someone who is good at giving speeches, actually is what you might think is a good teacher, but is not what you're looking for. You're looking for someone who can work with others well, can explain what the work they're doing to their team, and then translate that skill set and essentially treat students like an extension of their team, maybe as new members on their team, and as a result giving the students a very industry-focused learning, but also leveraging a type of communication that exists in the workplace and not trying to bring those people into some sort of artificial lecture format. And I'm not saying that we've solved the problem, but that's kind of how we think about it, the type of profiles we look for at companies. We want to hire them to be our instructors.
Ivan?
So I happen to have the experience in both sides, in the professional world as an architect and engineer, where I've worked for 12 years, and as a professor where I've been teaching for 10 years. So I kind of see both sides of the industry.
You don't look that old.
I'm sorry?
You don't look that old.
Yes. New York life, keeps you young.
Yeah.
and for us, it's really about combining both. I think to answer your question, it's really hard to be a great professional and to be a great professor at the same time. So what we do is, in fact, we put people together. Usually in our courses, we bring some of the world's top experts on some subject, either through companies or universities. We bring them in. At the same time, we bring the people who are instructional designers who are experts on teaching methodology, and we get them to work together. There's another thing, that teaching in a classroom and teaching online, it's a completely different story. So many times professors who've been teaching for many, many years in a classroom, you put them in front of a camera and they don't know how to behave. So, there is always a moment of adjustment. In our case at Build Academy, we always work with real-world problems. So we basically create these case studies, or we work on projects like complex infrastructure projects where we need a lot of expertise, and we create the curriculum specifically for these projects. We have modular content, and we target specific needs of the clients, of the professionals, in order to solve these problems through project alignment. So our methodology, in fact, tends to be something that is directly applied to the project, and therefore all the outcomes are much more direct and much more efficient.
So one of the trends in software engineering has been pair programming. So we think there's going to be pair teaching. Yeah?
Yeah.
Pair teaching?
We do it too.
Pair teaching?
It works really well.
Nice. Okay. Given the time, one of the interesting questions that I hypothesized is, and in particular when I was reflecting that iVersity and Build Academy source their content through partners, and the other panelists here have to create all their own content themselves. There are trade-offs and benefits of each model. But based on what you know about the other organizations here, which organization do you have a little bit of envy for? You're like, I wish we could be a little bit more like this organization. And why? Where does that envy come from? Yeah? Martina, do you want to start?
You always give me the best questions.
Well,
I don't, okay.
Yeah.
Let me think a little bit.
Oh, we can pick on, let's start in the middle, Hannes. Who do you envy? Yeah.
I mean, we started out working with these institutions, universities that I mentioned before, and there it was fairly sort of hands-off. We gave them some advice on how to produce courses, but they basically did it by themselves. And quality was, across the board, from really great to not so good. And that's something where, when we now ventured into professional learning, creating these pro courses, we said, okay, we need to have a closer look at this and we need to have more control. So we're much more invested and work much more closely with the people that create the content, but still, of course, you can't have expertise in all these different fields. So we still have a subject matter expert, as Ivan explained, that may have experience in the field and may have experience teaching, but doesn't know how to teach online. So we have to.
So who do you envy? Who do you envy?
And when you have people that you can pay directly, that you can also tell what to do. I mean, you guys, that's the situation that you have, and I assume you as well. That is something that makes it easier. With the experts, it's always a partnership relationship, not an employment relationship. So we have more leverage than we had in the past, but less than if we just paid them to do the job.
Okay.
So I think sometimes it makes things easier.
Gonzalo, you know who you envy?
Yeah, Make School.
Okay.
First of all, well, I think our model should tend to not, let's say, to be free up front, so no payment up front, and students be paying for the tuition. But as we haven't raised capital yet, so it would have been very hard for us in terms of working capital. But we're definitely thinking about going in that direction, especially in Latin America.
But you're not beholden to me, whereas Jeremy is beholden to me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Congrats.
The joke here is that Make School has raised capital from Learn Capital,
Yeah.
which is why we can offer courses for free and wait till the students take tuition later.
Yeah.
So now Michael is kind of my boss, so I have to be... I envy Ivan because you've piloted an education model that right now is being hyper-applied to programming education in an industry that is not programming education. And I think this is wonderful because it proves that a lot of the things that a lot of us are trying can translate perhaps to other industries and other areas of study, and also gives hope that this educational revolution in the Silicon Valley that right now is all about making new programmers, teaching programmers to be programmers, can finally extend beyond to other things. Yeah. So I think that's awesome.
And I envy Gonzalo from Ironhack, because he has offices in Madrid and Barcelona, which are two amazing cities. Well, Miami not so much, no, but I'm in New York, so way better. But I think Madrid and Barcelona are two amazing cities, and in fact, we are thinking of expanding soon into Spain, because some of the largest construction companies in the world are here in Spain, and some of the best architects in the world are here. So we are soon going to be approaching even further the Spanish market. So that's why Gonzalo, yes.
All right. If you work in the built environment, talk to Build Academy.
So then my word would be that I think that generally we have opportunity to learn from each other, definitely. But coming from the school, physical school, you know that our business model is not scalable, so that would be one point to mention. On the other hand, that is also the truth that it's not our priority right now, because we are focusing on people inside and working with them, and that's what we want to do physically.
How many learners did you have last year?
Well, as I said, we have 750,000.
750,000.
We had about 1,000.
About 1,000, yeah.
Yeah. So the difference.
Scale, control, scale, control, trade-offs. All right. Well, thank you so much, panelists. We've come to the end of our time here. Obviously, all of these wonderful people would enjoy questions and engaging with you as the day goes on. So thank you very much.